Okay, so welcome to uh, the specialist collaborative inquiry tutorial. I was going to meet tonight at 8 p.m., but I wasn't sure if people got the message. It's really short turnaround, so I'm going to do this little bit of a recorded video tutorial on you can expect for the collaborative inquiry project, and then hopefully everything will make good sense to everybody. First, I'm going to let you know we're going to be using a tool called Collaborate. And what I'm going to do is I've come in to Collaborate, and I'm going to click on your specialist meeting place, and I'm going to just open this up now, and I'm going to hit join session, and it takes a minute to load. It uses Flash and some other sort of software in the background to allow audio and video to talk to others, broadcast in and out of the session. So the first time you run Collaborate, you might have to use to download a few plugins before it'll run properly. It works best in Chrome. I'm not going to use Chrome just because I'm already in another browser. So some of the tools won't work perfectly for me, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview for that. But what you're going to do, your responsibility is you have the group project on the future of school, and the format for that project, you're going to work together as a group of 3 and design classroom or school of tomorrow. And the format you use to share that might be video, might be slide deck, might be something narrated. It might be a website. It might be a mishmash of a variety of things. I want you to explore the possibilities. Maybe surprise me. You might find something that I've never seen or considered before. But because we're dealing with the future, thinking about how technology might evolve, that's kind of one of the things you have to do. So beyond that project, you've got an independent project where you're going to be the expert and you're going to try and teach your classmates. So we're going to use Collaborate, this online environment, and we're going to invite other participants from part 1 and part 2 to come in where you will teach them something. Now, there are 3 of you. Each of you will do a presentation that will run 20 to 30 minutes. And ideally, we could run them all 3 back to back on one night with a 30-minute block for each, and then allowing for questions and answers. And then people that want to come, we just choose a night that might work really well for everybody. And then we could have them go one after the other. So you're going to do a workshop on something you love or are comfortable teaching about. It might be a piece of software. It might be a strategy in the classroom. It might be websites or resources. It could be just about anything. But you're going to use Collaborate to do that. And I want you to pick something you're comfortable with, and using Collaborate is where you're going to stretch yourself and try something really different. So being comfortable with the content is really important. You can learn something new that you're comfortable with, or something you already know. Either way, that's great. So you're gonna do a workshop, and part of that workshop is going to be PR. So you're going to create a poster and advertise it, and post that in the Q&A discussion so that other people know what the topic is and they can come if they'd like to. And you're going to do your presentation one after the other with the support of the other candidates. So if one person's doing a presentation, another person's going to help them be a sort of moderator on the side to help keep an eye on the discussion and help guide and keep things on track. They'll also be responsible for hitting the record button and saving the session. And then we'll switch. Another presenter will come in and another person will help moderate for the next half hour. And then for the third half hour, the third person will do a presentation with another person helping them out. And what you have to decide is what you'd like to do and how you'd like to teach it. And I'm going to give you just a brief overview of Collaborate to show you how the environment works. I've logged in. No one's in the room. Down below, you can see the basic information tools. The microphone tool allows you to share audio. And when you click that, it'll wire up. And then when you talk, everyone will hear you. Everyone in the session also can use a microphone similarly. They'll have a similar control, so they can ask questions verbally or answer questions or discuss things with you while you're doing the presentation. Everyone also has the option of hitting the share video button. And if we have really reliable bandwidth, then people will be able to see and hear the presenter. So what happens sometimes is if we choose a night where the internet's really being used a lot, we want to just use audio, because if we overload the system, people get kicked out. So maybe we want to find a way to do just a brief little video so that they can see you're there behind the screens as a real person, and then we can switch it off and just do audio. Everyone will also have an opportunity to put their hand up. That's one of the options they have. But this empty room is kind of boring like it is. So this tab in the lower right-hand corner shows you what options you have to use to teach with. When it opens up, it's going to give you a few different options. One, the chat. This is where people can say hi, or they can ask questions or anything. And when they post things, you and or the other person who's helping moderate will see what they're talking about and what they're saying. The other tool is the share content button. This is really the teaching tools that I'm going to show you now. Just really briefly, you're going to come in on your own and muck around and figure them out. But the main tools are the shared blank whiteboard. And if you open that, it allows everyone who's in the session to use this whiteboard to write and talk to one another by creating and using images. So they can draw rectangle, they can draw any kind of shape, circles, squares, lines, and they can choose colors, and they can use text. So if they want to write words and you want them to sort of create a list of something, they could record that way. They might just do freehand drawing if you want them to draw something. And if you as a controller say, okay, I'm going to clear the deck, you can erase the whiteboard and start anew. So that shared whiteboard is one way you can interact with your audience. The other buttons here, share application. If you open the right browser and use Chrome, for example, you'll be able to show a tool. So if you're opening up an application on your computer, even a word processor, let's say, you open up Microsoft Word, you can share it, and then everyone will see what you're doing in Microsoft Word, or in some robotics software, or coding something, or doing math equations. Or you could open a web browser if you're using a web-based something, a web-based tool or tour of websites. You can share your web browser and everyone will see where you're going and what you're doing. Beyond that, you can also share files. And the best way to use share files is to upload images. So if you were to create a slide deck of images, you can just drag those pictures here and then they'll show up for everybody. Let me see if I have a picture on a desktop. There's my summer picture. I can show that. If this was a slide in a slide presentation, for example, I could just drag it and upload it. And then when it loads up, it's going to take a few minutes to do that, especially because I'm using the bandwidth for video and audio. But once it's there, you can click on it and then share it. So if you have a whole bunch of slides that you prepared in advance, you can drag those. And then when you want to share them, you click on them and hit share now. And then that image will be broadcast to the entire class that's watching. So that's how that works. So you might have a whole list of images there, and then you just click through them when you want to show them. So those are the main tools for how you can share content and the type of content that you can share. It's now up to you to decide what is it you want to do your workshop on. And the three of you should decide what's a good night for everybody. Pick a night, sort of a weeknight, not a Friday night, I would recommend. But if you pick a night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday during the evening where we can run them back to back to back, say 7:30, 8 o'clock, and 8:30, those three workshops, then people can come and see which ones they want. We'll record all the sessions. So to record the sessions in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see an opportunity to hit start recording. And it'll save it and archive it, and then everyone can come and see it after the fact. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of the interface called Collaborate. This meeting space is open to you. You can come in at your leisure and muck around, experiment with different things. But you got to start thinking about what's that thing that you could help teach other people through this interface. That's kind of one of the things you have to work out. So support one another. If you have questions, you can post them in the Q&A discussion, or you can reach out to me through messages. I'll be glad to respond to any questions you might have. But I think the best thing for you to do is to get in there and muck about. When you do actually think about what workshop you're going to do, you're going to be in the collaborative inquiry discussion. You'll be bouncing those ideas off one another so that everyone knows what's going on. That's all I wanted to share with you tonight. I hope it makes sense to you. and we will look forward to seeing what you come up with as you discuss it with your group. Thanks for taking the time.